Hi everybody, thanks for joining us here online and on News Center Maine Plus. I'm meteorologist Ryan Breton with a look at a busy few days of weather coming up. One storm pulling away, but on the back side of it, the winds are going to whip on Friday. We have a wind advisory up for all of Maine and New Hampshire for gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Could be enough to knock down a few tree limbs and power lines, although we don't expect widespread issues. Saturday we get a dry day. We'll be cold. Temperatures in the morning around 0 in some cases, then only getting into the 20s Saturday afternoon as clouds will be increasing. And then snow develops Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's pretty much an all-day event on Sunday with, again, a variety of precipitation types. Snow that will change over to sleet, some freezing rain, and maybe a touch of plain rain on the immediate coastline. This is the map as of Thursday evening. This storm pulling away, but again, the winds whip behind it. And the weekend storm is now coming on the west coast. You can see rain through a lot of California, where of course they need it. Quite a bit of rain around LA, and then in the higher elevations there is mountain snow with that. Wind advisory again up for Friday. Again, the potential for gusts to 50 miles per hour on Friday. Saturday, the winds will lighten up. It's going to be a dry day, but here comes the storm system coming out of the middle of the country on Saturday. Snow will get close to Maine during the late afternoon and evening on Saturday, but it probably holds off until Saturday night in southwestern Maine. It actually will be slow to overspread the whole state because what's going to be happening late Saturday night into Sunday morning is the Maine storm system will be transferring its energy off to the coastline to what we call a secondary area of low pressure. If this didn't form, we would see pretty much a changeover to just plain rain. But what this will do is lock in cold air at the ground level while it gets warmer high in the sky again on Sunday. So that's a recipe for snow that changes over to an icy mix. And this is a fairly long duration storm. Not only is it a bigger storm than the one we just had, it's going to be slower moving. So it's probably not out of here completely until Sunday night or very early on Monday morning. Let's show you the closer timeline. This is 6 o'clock Saturday evening. At that point, still clear in eastern and northern Maine. Clouds are in place to the south, perhaps a few snow showers over in New Hampshire. By 10 o'clock Saturday evening, there may be some light snow or snow showers that develop in southern Maine, snowing over in southern New Hampshire, but the bulk of the state should be dry. Same story through about 2 in the morning. The snow probably doesn't make too much northward progress until early Sunday morning. This is 6 a.m. You can see by that point some snow getting into central Maine, cold and snowy over York and Cumberland counties. So at this point there will be some accumulation on the ground while it's still dry farther north and east. This does fill in during the morning by 10 a.m. Snow into Bangor, snow down east, and snowing still in most of central southern Maine and New Hampshire. But it's late morning and midday when we start to see that mixing move north. A layer of warm air will be moving in up at the cloud level that can melt these snowflakes, but it's still going to be cold near the ground. So they'll melt into a raindrop and then probably refreeze into an ice pellet. That's what we call sleet. So it looks like Sunday midday and afternoon we'll see a lot of central southern down east Maine see a changeover from snow to an icy mix of sleet and perhaps some freezing rain. The freezing rain would be more likely near the coastline. At the same time, that warm air high up in the sky never really gets into the mountains and far north. So it's snowing heavy at times much of the afternoon and evening on Sunday up here with temperatures in the teens. It'll be a fluffy snow up in that direction. Over southern Maine, this is probably done by about 10 o'clock Sunday evening and then ending around or just after midnight in Bangor, and snow showers will continue in the far north into early Monday morning. So this is a first look at our snowfall accumulation map, and a couple of things to consider here. The storm has a lot more moisture than the one that we just had. However, we're dealing with a changeover again to sleet and possibly freezing rain. When that changeover takes place will determine how big the snow totals are in this region. If it comes in as we see it now, we'll get 3 to 6 inches of snow and then see a changeover to sleet and some freezing rain. And at that point, your accumulation of snow is essentially done. Sleet can pile up, but it takes a long time to really pile up. It just kind of adds a layer of ice on top of that snow. Where that changeover really doesn't happen much in this zone here, but there may be some sleet that mixes in 6 to 10 inches from along Route 2 into parts of the Oxford Hills and into northern New Hampshire. And where it never really happens and we stay all snow, from about the Carabasset Valley north and east, the potential is there for 10 to 14 inches. And depending on how much moisture makes it up here, there could even be some 18-inch totals where it stays all snow. Now, what could change in this forecast? Well, if the sleet is held off or doesn't penetrate as far inland, this 6 to 10 inch zone would come down south of Bangor, south of Augusta Waterville, south of Lewiston, and closer to Portland. I don't really see a case where the 6 to 10 goes all the way down to southern New Hampshire, because I think it'll be tough to stop at least some mixing with sleet. On the other hand, could this be a case where we have to go the other way? The sleet comes in much faster. Probably not. I feel pretty good about where we stand with this. If there were to be any adjustment, it probably would be that this shifts down toward parts of central and mid-coast Maine as opposed to going the other direction. Want to show you where we think the icing will be on Sunday, and this is through Sunday evening. You can see it kind of fill in here through the afternoon and evening. A good chance for icing on top of the snow in all of this region, but again, it really never makes it to the mountains and far north. It's more likely to be sleet in this area and freezing rain closer to the coastline, at least some freezing rain. And here's why that's important. We'll talk a little bit about precipitation types. Obviously, snow falls all the way to the ground and doesn't melt, so it falls as snow. When you have sleet, there's a thin layer of warm air in the upper atmosphere that can melt the snowflake into a raindrop. But then near the ground and above the ground, there's a thick enough cold layer that it refreezes into an ice pellet. I think we're looking at more of that. Sleet's really hard to shovel and move around, but it's better than freezing rain, because freezing rain is rain that falls into temperatures that are 32 or below and then freezes on everything because it doesn't have time to refreeze before hitting the ground. If we have more freezing rain, then there is a higher risk for power outages. Neither are great, but I think most people would take the trade-off of something that's harder to shovel and move around in over freezing rain, which coats tree limbs, power lines, and can lead to power outages. We may still have some freezing rain, but it just looks like of the two, there may be more sleet than freezing rain. And of course, all it takes is a degree or two difference in the upper atmosphere to make a difference here. So we've still got to watch the freezing rain threat, but it's probably going to be more sleet as we see it right now. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. It's a windy and cold day on Friday, gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Saturday, it's a cold morning and really a cold afternoon for that matter too, with high temperatures in the mid-20s. Some snow showers develop in southwestern Maine Saturday evening and Saturday night, but most of us, the snow really gets going Sunday morning, and then we see a transition to that sleet and a bit of freezing rain. Worth noting, after this storm moves away, it looks cold through the middle of next week. So again, what does fall will not be melting anytime soon. That's the latest for now. We'll be back with another update for you Friday evening, and updates right here on News Center Maine Plus all weekend too.